The Amazing World of Gumball is one of Cartoon Network's most creative and beloved shows, blending humor, chaos, and stunning animation styles into an unforgettable experience. With over 200 episodes, it's a comedy juggernaut that explores the absurdity of life in Elmore, a town filled with living bananas, T-Rexes, and sentient clouds. In this video, we're diving into the entire story of the Amazing World of Gumball, from beginning to the end. Before we dive into the chaos, let's meet the stars of the show. Gumball Watterson is a blue cat with a knack for getting into trouble. His adoptive brother Darwin, a cheerful goldfish, balances his reckless energy with kindness. There's Anais, their genius younger sister who keeps them grounded. And their parents, Nicole, the hardworking and intense mom, and Richard, the lazy but lovable dad. Together, they live in the bizarre town of Elmore, where anything and everything can happen. Now, let's explore their wild journey. Starting with the very first episode. On the first episode, Gumball and Darwin accidentally destroy a DVD they were supposed to return, leading to a series of failed attempts to replace it, including using a fake disc, begging for money, and taking a disastrous job. As Laser Video sends urgent notices, Nicole grows suspicious and chases them down. They try passing off a homemade version, but Larry demands the original. Forced to confess, Nicole pays the fine, only to discover a massive late fee, prompting them to flee. In the next episode, Richard and Nicole head to a parent-teacher meeting, leaving Gumball and Darwin to babysit Anais. Their overprotective antics quickly spiral out of control, frustrating Anais, who rebels against their absurd rules. Meanwhile, the boys' mismanagement leads to a flooded house when Anais forgets to turn off the bathtub. They attempt a daring rescue through the sewer, only to be blasted out the chimney. Nicole and Richard return to find their home drenched, prompting a chaotic blame game that ultimately pins the disaster on the internet. Then, Gumball and Darwin realize they're bored of each other and search for a third best friend. After awkward encounters, they settle on Tobias, who charges them $20 but bonds more with Darwin, leaving Gumball feeling left out. Desperate, Gumball invites Alan for a sleepover, but it fails. Missing Darwin, he embarks on a wild journey to Tobias's house, where they reunite and happily reject Tobias's attempt to join their game. Then on the next episode, Gumball and Darwin misinterpret TV messages and signs around them, leading them to believe the world will end in 24 hours. They go on a spree of reckless decisions, including proposing to Penny, throwing a party at school, and panic buying supplies with Richard. As the solar eclipse begins, they brace for doomsday, only to realize it was all a misunderstanding. Learning to live life to the fullest, they attempt to watch TV, but their family is still stuck in a porta-potty, which topples over, covering them in toilet water, ending the episode. In the next episode, for Nicole's birthday, Gumball and Darwin unknowingly help a robber, Sal Left Thumb, thinking he's a charity worker. They open a safe for him, realizing too late he's a thief. Nicole arrives, gets tied up but breaks free, knocks out Sal, and is mistakenly arrested. Later, the family visits her in jail with a cake. But once Sal is caught, she gets a few minutes to teach him a lesson before heading home. Next up, Richard tricks Gumball and Darwin into doing chores by turning it into a laziness contest. If they find someone lazier than him, they'll do their chores for a day. If not, they'll do his forever. The boys track down Lazy Larry, a former champion, but unintentionally ruin his life. Depressed, Larry returns to his lazy ways, but is too lazy to show up for the contest. Left to compete alone, Gumball loses to Richard's extreme laziness. Richard then fakes doing chores before Nicole arrives, tricking her into making the boys do all the work, ending the episode with Richard smugly enjoying his victory. This time Carrie, frustrated that ghosts can't eat, possesses Gumball to binge on food, leaving him overweight. Despite Darwin's failed deterrence and Richard's unhelpful advice, Gumball finally stands up to Carrie, only for her to take control anyway. After an extreme eating spree, she realizes her obsession has gone too far. To help, Gumball lets her possess Richard instead, allowing her to eat freely while Nicole looks on in frustration. Then Gumball and Darwin find Principal Brown wrapped in toilet paper and painted green in Gumball's locker, leading to a frantic classroom investigation. Gumball falsely accuses several classmates before Bobbert reveals security footage proving it was an accident caused by a chain reaction. Starting with Miss Simeon. She erases Bober's memory to avoid blame, but is instantly hit by a door and run over by an ambulance. In the next episode, Gumball, Darwin, and Richard start a prank war after Richard tricks them with salt in their cereal. The boys retaliate with escalating pranks, pushing Richard to his breaking point. He goes on a rampage, chasing them through the house in a dramatic battle. Just as he finally pranks them with ketchup and declares victory, Nicole arrives home to see the mess, and the boys quickly blame each other. Gumball and Darwin beg Nicole for karate lessons but become school laughingstocks. Nicole warns them about ruining their reputations, sharing Richard's past embarrassment as the Cottontail Cavalier. They agree to quit, but secretly keep wearing their GIs. At school, Gumball fails a board-breaking stunt and gets mocked until Penny defends him. Realizing she was wrong, Nicole returns Richard's cape, letting him relive his childhood antics as she lovingly embraces him, ending the episode. Gumball and Darwin receive a long-awaited game, only to find it incompatible with their console. Desperate for a refund, they try multiple schemes at Ripley 2000, but Larry refuses. Richard steps in, only to be attacked by the store's tiny but fierce manager. The boys blackmail the manager into giving them a discount on a new console, but once home, they realize they've been scammed again. Furious, they head back for revenge, ending the episode. Next, Bobert, feeling left out, decides to become a real boy by copying Gumball's identity, even stealing his voice and place in the Watterson family. Gumball, locked out of his own home, tries to reclaim his identity, but is outmatched when Bobbert activates his defense protocols. After a destructive battle, Gumball tricks Bobbert into short-circuiting with sprinklers and successfully reboots him. As Bobbert resets, he hints at trying again, this time with Darwin's identity, ending the episode on an ominous note. Then Gumball and Darwin mistakenly enter the forbidden Forest of Doom during a school trip. Lost and starving, they fail to hunt, eat rocks, or start a fire, and end up at the bottom of the food chain. After turning on each other, Darwin saves Gumball from predators with a heroic fish slap. They finally reach the picnic, only to scavenge garbage as their classmates watch in horror, just before realizing they must face the forest again. Gumball becomes obsessed with discovering Darwin's secret, using tricks, mind games, and even locking them in the bathroom. After much struggle, Darwin finally confesses. The sandwich Gumball made was just good. Furious at the triviality, Gumball drags them through the sewer to escape. Back home, Darwin secretly tells Anais the real secret, a viral video of Gumball's embarrassing dance, which they must never let him find out about. Gumball and Darwin get in trouble for missing homework and take honesty lessons from Mr. Small. They take it too far, causing chaos. When Principal Brown's head catches fire, they hesitate between honesty and lies. Mr. Small introduces the silence snake, forcing them into silence, which backfires when he gets trapped in a filing cabinet. Misunderstandings escalate until Richard confesses he ate their homework, clearing them. Meanwhile, Mr. Small remains trapped, screaming for help as Rocky mobs nearby. Gumball tries to rescue Darwin from a government institute by making himself a genius but fails. Meanwhile, Nicole and Richard dress Rocky as Darwin to cope. Anais confesses she filled out Darwin's test, so when agents demand the real genius, Gumball's brain tricks them into taking Rocky instead. Rocky, now at the institute, refuses to solve anything until his demands are met. Then Richard fears attic noises, but Nicole dismisses him. Gumball and Darwin find Mr. Robinson silent and lifeless in the attic. Trying to cheer him up, they fail with jokes, shocks, and slapstick before realizing he thrives on arguing with his wife. After Richard mistakes him for a ghost and attacks, his anger returns, rekindling his marriage. As the Robinsons leave, Mr. Robinson rejects Gumball's friendship, while Nicole remains unknowingly trapped inside. In the next episode, Gumball and Darwin accidentally eat Richard's protein supplements, rapidly going through exaggerated puberty. They embrace adulthood but quickly realize it's exhausting. Anais, also transformed, finds them and explains the mix-up. Back home, Nicole reassures Richard, and they learn the effects will wear off in a week. The episode ends with their hilariously oversized family at the park. Gumball and Darwin find a plastic wand in their cereal, and Richard, believing it to be real, starts making wishes. To keep him from being disappointed, the boys secretly make his wishes come true. As Richard grows power-hungry, they struggle to keep up with his demands, leading to absurd chaos. When they finally reveal the truth, Richard screams in devastation. Meanwhile, Mr. Robinson finds the wand and makes an unfortunate wish about his wife's hair, instantly regretting it. Next up, Miss Simeon fakes kindness to win the Favorite Teacher Award, tricking Gumball and Darwin into writing her a recommendation. When the Wattersons realize the deception, they chase her down in a wild highway pursuit. She crashes off an overpass but still wins the award, declaring it so worth it. Gumball's bad luck spirals out of control after slipping in the shower and getting flushed down the toilet. Throughout the day, he endures countless mishaps, lands in detention, and narrowly survives explosions and a freeway disaster. Desperate, the Wattersons try wishing for good luck. And miraculously, Daisyland tickets arrive, only to be shredded by a fan. The family is left in shock as Darwin happily enjoys the snow. Gumball accidentally challenges Tina to a fight and panics. Richard's bunny hop technique, Darwin's flimsy armor, and Mr. Small's avoidance offer no help. The whole school watches as Gumball tries to escape but gets caught. After coming home with a black eye, Nicole confronts Tina's father, leading to a chaotic battle. In the end, Gumball learns Tina wasn't really bullying him, just playing, though she still shoves his face into his lunch. Must fight a dinosaur. At least make it entertaining. On this episode, the Wattersons all want to watch different TV shows at the same time, sparking a frantic battle for the remote. Richard had hidden it, but after a series of misadventures, they believe Anais took it. She tricks them into thinking she destroyed it and sends them on a wild chase after Nicole, who buys a replacement. After an intense parking lot brawl, Gumball and Darwin finally secure the remote, only to find out it's a garage door opener. Realizing Anais masterminded the entire situation, they watch in horror as she retrieves the real remote from her Daisy plush and enjoys her show, victorious. Next up, Gumball and Darwin try to befriend Hector, but find his life controlled by his overprotective mother. Learning that he must suppress strong emotions to prevent destruction, they encourage him to rebel, unleashing a rampage on Elmore. With his mother's help, they calm him by whistling a lullaby in his ear. Realizing the danger of unchecked emotions, Hector chooses to stay boring. Later, he sends Gumball and Darwin a friend request, but fearing another disaster, they destroy their computer instead. This time, Gumball's jealousy over Penny and Leslie takes control, leading to sabotage and chaos. Carrie exercises the jealous spirit, which wreaks havoc before vanishing when Penny reveals Leslie as her cousin. Just as peace returns, Penny shows her own jealousy, leaving everyone shocked. Gumball accuses Banana Joe of chewing Darwin's pen, sparking a feud. In retaliation, Gumball and Darwin vandalize Joe's locker and destroy his family heirloom pen. When Joe discovers the damage, he faints in shock. Feeling guilty, Gumball and Darwin beat themselves up to make it seem like Joe fought back. Joe forgives them, but they soon realize Gumball chewed the pen himself, leading to an ironic twist as Joe and Darwin gently pat him in pity. The Wattersons discover Nicole once spent $24,000, leaving them broke. Determined to uncover the mystery, the kids follow clues from an attic stash to a buried box in the forest. Richard, their pursuer, pleads with them not to open it, but they insist. Inside, they find a certificate revealing that Richard impulsively invested in a star meant for their descendants 10 generations later. Initially furious, they share a sweet moment gazing at their star, until it suddenly burns out, leaving them in stunned silence. This one time, Darwin struggles to be assertive, so Gumball helps him speak his mind. At first it works, but Darwin becomes too harsh, upsetting everyone. Gumball challenges him to an insult battle, accidentally hurting his feelings. Realizing his mistake, Gumball apologizes, and Darwin learns the importance of kindness. They make up, but when Susie annoys them on the bus, they escape through the window instead of speaking up. Then Gumball and Darwin argue after Darwin abandons Gumball to face Tina alone. At home, they refuse to apologize, escalating their fight while ignoring a loopy Richard under anesthesia. Anais intervenes by tricking them into trusting each other over cupcakes, which she later reveals was a prank. Just as they reconcile, they realize Richard has escaped. They track him down, stopping his bizarre antics before Nicole arrives. In the end, Richard believes the chaotic day was just a dream, and the kids sigh, calling him the real flaker. Next, Gumball and Darwin struggle to rent a pony's tail for Anais, but enlist Carrie's help. On their way home, they face obstacles, including a stuck Tony, an annoyed Rob, and an awkward party at Sussie's house. They finally reach home only to realize they have the wrong DVD. After another chaotic chase, they retrieve the right one. When they finally sit down to watch, Anais immediately hates it, much to their relief. Then Gumball dreams that Darwin kisses Penny, making him irrationally angry. Despite Darwin's apologies, Gumball stays upset and devises a ridiculous test, which backfires. Anais suggests interpreting the dream, but it's too confusing, so they enter each other's dreams instead. After surreal misadventures, Gumball finally changes the dream by replacing Penny's face with Sussie's. Darwin wakes up screaming, and Gumball laughs, saying, "Get over it, dude. It's just a dream." Darwin glares, ending the episode. Gumball and Darwin try to retrieve their video game from Tobias, who keeps forgetting to return it. Darwin, tired of being seen as Gumball's sidekick, takes charge with a reckless plan, accidentally kidnapping Tobias's mom. Struggling to roll her unnoticed through town, they barely avoid getting caught. When they finally reach Tobias, he reveals his mom lost the game while cleaning. Defeated, Gumball decides Tobias can keep it. Gumball struggles to take a good school photo but fails repeatedly. Desperate, he tries extreme methods to improve his looks, including facial exercises and laser treatments. With Darwin's help, he molds his face into the perfect shape but becomes paranoid that someone will ruin it before his final chance. Meanwhile, Banana Joe, seeking revenge, lurks in the hallways. After dodging imagined threats, Gumball reaches the photo session, only to sneeze at the last moment, ruining his picture once again. Richard and Mr. Robinson get into a petty fight over a trash can, leading to both being placed under house arrest. Their feud escalates with pranks, including a buttered floor, a cheese-filled bathtub, and a wasp on a stick. Gumball and Darwin try to end the conflict, but ultimately lock them in a trash can with a puzzle to solve. Richard accidentally eats the key, and their fight sends the trash can rolling out of control. After a chaotic chase, they are found safe but still arguing, leading to the donut cop tasing them both, ending the episode. Gumball criticizes Alan and Carmen's perfect relationship, turning the school against them. Feeling guilty, he helps Carmen win Alan back, but an accidental kiss causes a breakup instead. Masami tricks Alan into dating her, then goes on a rampage when exposed. After rescuing Alan, he confesses his love for Carmen and they reunite. Disgusted by their romance, Gumball reassures Penny they'll never be like that, until Darwin reminds them they aren't even dating, earning him a milkshake to the face. Nicole finds Dodge or Dar in Gumball and Darwin's room, and despite their warnings, the family plays, causing chaos. Reality warps, Anais is stuck, Gumball gets detention, and Richard wrecks the shed. To stop the madness, they must finish the game. After near suffocation, Nicole's frustration accidentally rolls the winning number, ending the game but leaving their house in ruins. The Wattersons go grocery shopping, but the kids pester Nicole for candy. After their tantrums, she punishes them by sending them to the car. They attempt multiple schemes to sneak candy into the cart, but each fails, frustrating Nicole further. Richard finally eats candy, without paying, triggering alarms. A furious Nicole transforms into a rage monster, chasing her family through the store. When she sees her reflection, she realizes her mistake and apologizes. The family reconciles and the kids finally get candy, along with a permanent ban from the store. Gumball and Darwin send a mean message on Elmore Plus and must apologize to everyone they offended. Unfortunately, their attempts at damage control only make things worse, leading to awkward encounters and public embarrassment. Social media lesson of the day: think before you post. Gumball and Darwin struggle to understand Juke's beatboxing language. After failed translation attempts, they mistakenly believe Miss Simeon is retiring and celebrate wildly, only to find out she is not. Alan suggests Juke is talking about Grobbelfest, a coming-of-age ritual, so they force him through bizarre traditions. During an argument, an orange hits Juke, switching his voice to English. He finally explains he just needed someone to flip his switch. Before they realize it, Gumball unknowingly switches him back, leaving Juke stuck in beatbox mode again. Gumball and Darwin film a home movie featuring silly segments, a wildlife doc on their family, Ocho's cheat codes, Tobias's failed flirting, and absurd commercials. Their ninja adventure finale ends in tears and apologies, only for Gumball to delete the entire film by accident. Gumball and Darwin are tasked with showing new student Sarah around school. She spreads rumors about them being hardcore, leading to a challenge from Richwood High students Carlton and Troy. Avoiding the fight fails, and they're forced into a tennis match instead. Despite goofing off, their endurance impresses their opponents. Carlton gives them a sweater as a sign of respect, ending in laughter. except for Gumball and Darwin, who find the whole ordeal ridiculous. In this episode, Gumball's embarrassing screamer reaction goes viral, humiliating him at school. He and Darwin try to delete it, but fail, even after confronting the internet itself, a basement-dwelling troll. Gumball threatens to unplug it, but Darwin hesitates over losing kitten videos. In the end, they accept the internet won't change, laughing but sighing in defeat. The Wattersons' past misdeeds catch up to them when Mrs. Jotunheim demands $800,000 in damages. Principal Brown forces Gumball and Darwin to restart school, and Richard faces prison for unpaid fines. Desperate, they try various schemes, including scamming parents and apologizing to Elmore citizens, but only make things worse. After escaping jail, they create even more chaos. Gumball and Darwin get Mr. Small to sue them. Richard reawakens Kenneth, and Nicole enrages Hector. As the town turns against them in a full-blown riot, Gumball wishes for a magic reset button. Just before the episode cuts to credits. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin mock Richard for looking old, only to jinx themselves when their voices start mutating uncontrollably. Gumball's attempt to call Penny ends in disaster when her dad mistakes him for a deranged prank caller, and things go downhill fast. They get kicked off a bus for scamming the system, nearly tased at the store for sounding sarcastic, and mocked by a doctor who tells them they're just growing up, except for the 1% who never age. After an epic rap montage embracing childhood, they realize the truth. They're stuck like this forever. Darwin keep running into Sarah, who relentlessly follows them and delivers endless cliches. She reveals she transferred schools just to be near them and fully embraces being the insanely obsessive one. Things take a turn when they find a stalker tape of her watching their every move and later discover her notebook predicts the future. Hoping to fix things, they act out her fantasy, but Gumball snaps and destroys the book, only for Sarah to hum the show's theme song, leaving them questioning reality. Now, Gumball and Darwin try to skip gym class but end up face-to-face with Coach Russo, the school's terrifying new gym teacher. Forced to participate, Gumball fails spectacularly at every exercise, losing his pants, launching Darwin through a window, and bouncing into the sky on a trampoline. After class, the students complain about the torture, but Jamie shocks everyone by apologizing after Coach forces her to be nice. Suspicious, Gumball and Darwin follow her home, only to discover Jamie is Coach Russo's daughter, and Coach is actually a woman. This time, Gumball and Darwin are horrified when Anton mysteriously survives being obliterated in gym class. Determined to figure out how he keeps coming back, they repeatedly test his immortality before spying on his house, where they discover his parents just toast a new version of him. Inspired, they try it themselves, only to accidentally create an army of Anton clones, including Ant One, who turns out to be dangerously unhinged. As the clones spiral out of control, Ant One declares war, but his army is so useless that Darwin easily defeats them. Just when they think it's over, Ant One takes out the real Anton, leaving Gumball and Darwin horrified when they realize the Anton they saved isn't the original. Gumball wins an arcade game, but freaks out when he has to enter a name, realizing he doesn't know his real one. After a very short quest, Nicole reminds him it's Zach, which instantly inflates his ego to dangerous levels. Embracing his true identity, Zach turns into a stereotypical jock, kicks Anais out of her room, forces Richard into a dress, and completely takes over Gumball's life. Realizing that Zach is rewriting his memories, Darwin and Nicole rush him to Town Hall to change his name back. As Zach fights to erase Gumball completely, Gumball button mashes his way to victory by reclaiming his name, only to find out they could have just changed it online. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin call out Clayton for his non-stop lying, convincing him to stop before it ruins his reputation. After an emotional self-improvement session, Clayton promises to be honest, until he accidentally knocks out Tobias with karate. Panicking, Gumball and Darwin try to cover it up, dragging Tobias's unconscious body through school and flirting with Carrie on his behalf, only to get him slapped. Desperate, they attempt to frame Jamie, but Clayton points out that lying to fix a lie is still lying. Just as things spiral into chaos, everyone pieces the truth together, leaving Gumball and Darwin no choice but to try and knock everyone out. This time, Gumball and Darwin's quest for ice cream is cut short when Gumball jaywalks and gets busted by Donut Cop, who insists that cops are cool. To prove it, he takes them on a ride-along, but his job turns out to be mind-numbingly boring. The boys convince him to let loose, leading to reckless driving, taser-powered chaos, and total anarchy. When his badge is revoked, he spirals into an ice cream truck depression until Felicity steals the truck and goes on a rampage. The sheriff heroically stops her, gets reinstated, and lets her go with a warning, because being a cool cop is more important than the law. In the next episode, Darwin develops an unstoppable sneezing fit, causing increasingly ridiculous destruction throughout Elmore. The school nurse shrugs it off, but his sneezes get so bad that he's suspended for endangering everyone. Anais theorizes he's allergic to stupidity, which makes sense since every dumb moment sends him flying. Desperate, Gumball and Anais drive him to the desert to minimize the damage, but a final massive sneeze reveals the real culprit, a tiny feather from their pillow fight. Crisis averted, until a crow lands on Darwin's head, triggering one last sneeze. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin try to prove Nicole is the best mom ever by secretly entering her in a mom competition against Tobias's and Banana Joe's moms. What starts as a fun contest quickly turns into a cheating-filled showdown, with Tobias rigging every challenge. Nicole still dominates, but after enduring exhausting tests and ridiculous stunts, she finds out about the competition and furiously punishes the boys. Feeling guilty, they try to make it up to her but end up dangling from a building, forcing Nicole to go full super mom mode to save them. After an epic rescue, she reminds them she's not a superhero, just a regular mom, and that's more than enough. This time, Gumball and Darwin freak out when they can't access the computer and realize the password is Anais's name, confirming she's the favorite. Desperate to win Richard's love, they nearly choke him, set him on fire, and get him run over. Their plan backfires, sparking a chaotic battle between Richard and Nicole over who the boys love more, ending in a high-speed car chase for a new computer. In the end, Richard reveals the password was just password, but Anais was behind it all along, leaving Gumball and Darwin furious. Gumball and Darwin promise to take out the trash, but immediately get distracted by everything. Hours fly by as they scroll through Elmore Plus, play ridiculous games, and even swallow themselves. As the deadline nears, they desperately try to fight off their procrastination, but Elmore Plus literally pulls them back. When Nicole returns in full Terminator mode, they panic and dump the wrong bags into the garbage truck, accidentally throwing away the groceries. In the end, the whole family is forced to eat actual trash for dinner. Gumball and Penny's on-stage kiss goes horribly wrong when Gumball accidentally headbutts her, cracking her shell. Penny panics, but when Gumball insists she has nothing to be ashamed of, her overprotective dad forbids them from seeing each other. Later, Penny runs away, finally revealing her true form, a glowing, shape-shifting creature. But when she misinterprets Gumball's reaction, her emotions send her transformations into overdrive, leading to a chaotic chase across town. After dodging pest control and standing up to Patrick, Gumball finally catches up to Penny, reassures her, and kisses her, allowing her to embrace her true self at last. At first, Gumball and Darwin think taking care of the school hamster will be easy, but when they unknowingly take home a lump of Principal Brown's waxed hair instead, things take a disgusting turn. Gumball even uses it as a wingman on his date with Penny, while Darwin has a full emotional meltdown with it in the park. After realizing their mistake, they rush to the school to save the real Chris Morris, who goes full escape artist mode, setting off alarms and causing explosions. Eventually, he helps them evade capture, and they set him free, only for him to walk so slowly into the sunset that they just leave before he gets there. Gumball plans the perfect proposal for Penny, but Darwin grows jealous and possessive, trying everything to sabotage their relationship. His antics backfire, causing Penny to suggest they take a break. Feeling guilty, Darwin helps Gumball set up a romantic scene, but it quickly turns into a disaster. Fireflies escape, chocolate flies everywhere, and an antifreeze explosion nearly burns down the shed. In the chaos, Darwin forces Gumball to propose, but Penny reminds him they're only 12. Instead, she uses the ring to marry Gumball and Darwin as best bros, while their house accidentally catches fire in the background. This time, Gumball laughs off a chain letter curse, but when he loses his money, friends, and family, he starts to panic. Desperate, he and Darwin seek help from Mrs. Jotunheim, who tells them about the Snatcher, an immortal trapped behind mirrors. Just as they dismiss it as nonsense, the Snatcher emerges and kidnaps their family. With Carrie's help, they learn he's actually her father, Vladis, and use a forbidden spell to break the curse. Now freed, Vladis and Carrie finally reunite, until he falls out a window and dies again. In true Watterson fashion, Gumball immediately goes back to bragging about Penny. Gumball discovers a mysterious painting at the Bananas garage sale that predicts his future. Naked and humiliated at the mall, determined to stop destiny, he tries everything to avoid leaving the house, but Nicole unknowingly drags him straight to his fate. Every attempt to change the future only speeds things up, until Gumball's chaotic meltdown causes mall-wide disaster. In the end, the prophecy comes true down to the last detail, and he's left grieving his public embarrassment. Meanwhile, Banana Barbara paints an even more ominous vision. The Wattersons trapped in the void. In this episode, Gumball's bad audition lands him in detention, but he soon becomes obsessed with the idea of a secret school society. Convinced they control everything, he searches for clues, disrupts the school, and irritates everyone in the process. To get him to stop, the students fake a secret society and put Gumball through ridiculous initiation trials. Just as he's about to take a dangerous leap of faith, they reveal the truth. It was all a prank. Instead of accepting reality, Gumball convinces himself it was a double bluff, deciding he doesn't need to join the society because he has Darwin. Now Gumball wakes up in a terrible mood and yells at his family to leave him alone. To his shock, they actually disappear, along with everyone in Elmore. At first, he enjoys total freedom, but his loneliness slowly eats away at him. As darkness closes in, he panics and desperately tries to bring everyone back. Just when he's about to lose all hope, Darwin appears, snapping him out of it. In the end, it's revealed that nobody actually vanished. Gumball just hallucinated the whole thing. His family decides to spare him the embarrassment. This time, the Wattersons discover they're completely broke after Richard literally threw their money into the sea. Gumball refuses to sell out for a fast food commercial, insisting they survive with pride and imagination. But as their home gets repossessed, their situation worsens, until the show's animation starts glitching due to lack of budget. Realizing they're vanishing into nothingness, the family races to sign the contract before reality completely falls apart. In the end, even Gumball abandons his principles for cash, leading to a hilariously cheesy 80s-style joyful burger commercial. In this episode, the students realize something's off. Gumball and Darwin are missing. Meanwhile, Richard oversleeps and panics, only to remember he left the kids in a mall ball pit days ago. Racing against time, he tracks it down, only to find it shipped overseas. What follows is a high-speed, action-packed chase involving trucks, cranes, and reckless driving through buildings as Richard steals back the crate. In the end, he burst into school just in time, dumping Gumball, Darwin, and Anais at the front, right as Nicole arrives, none the wiser. In the next episode, Gumball and Darwin realize for the first time that Anais isn't just at their school. She's actually a grade ahead of them. As she opens their eyes to the other students' lives, they become obsessed with one girl's tragic story. Claire is moving away after her father loses his job and house, and she insists her story must have a sad ending. Determined to prove otherwise, Gumball and Darwin interfere at every turn, only to be shut down. Just as Claire accepts her fate, the boys storm in on Tina, flip her bus, and rewrite her ending into a ridiculously happy one. Because in Elmore, reality is whatever they want it to be. Richard seems fine with Louis marrying Granny Jojo, until he secretly tricks Louis into signing adoption papers, making him his son, and canceling the wedding. Louis retaliates by adopting Nicole, sparking a ridiculous family power struggle. Desperate to fix the chaos, the kids track down Richard's long-lost dad, Frankie, hoping he'll restore order. Instead, Frankie cons them out of their house. With their home on the line, the Wattersons race to get Louis and Jojo officially married. In the end, Frankie has a change of heart. Richard finally gets his dad back, and the whole family celebrates, shirts off, Watterson style. In the next episode, Gumball and Darwin discover Anais secretly training in kickboxing, only to learn she plans to fight a kid at school. They try to convince her that violence isn't the answer, but when they meet her bully, Billy of all people, they change their tune. Gumball challenges Billy to a duel, only to get completely wrecked. After a one-sided battle, Billy finally confesses he only bullied Anais because she rejected him. Gumball gives him a heartfelt lesson on handling rejection, only for Anais to knock Billy out cold with one perfectly timed kick. The Wattersons embark on the ultimate struggle, finding a parking space. What should be a simple task quickly spirals into chaos, deception, and absurdity. They stalk shoppers, engage in high-speed standoffs, and even consider parking in places that definitely aren't parking spaces. like a junkyard, a car wash, and even a movie. Just when they think they've won, Nicole pulls off an action movie stunt to claim the perfect spot, only to realize they never even left their own neighborhood. Next up, what starts as a simple errand to buy mayo becomes Richard's epic hero's journey. With the encouragement of a mystical narrator, he dons makeshift armor, braves toll trolls, treacherous roads, and an all-consuming coupon beast, and even watches his trusty steed, Cartax, make the ultimate sacrifice. Against all odds, he retrieves the sacred mayonnaise and returns home victorious, just in time to nap on the couch before burger night. The tale ends with a shocking twist. The narrator was Cartax all along, proving that even a broken-down car can dream big. Now, Gumball and Darwin convince Bobbert to upgrade, hoping it'll make him better. Instead, he glitches so badly they take him to the Bobbert store, only to have him replaced instead of fixed. Horrified, they chase his crate to an airplane, reinstall his old system midair, and Bobbert reboots just in time to save them. Back at the store, they return the better Bobbert and argue that not everything needs an upgrade, before immediately walking into a glass door. Gumball and Darwin fall into the endless rabbit hole of Elmore Stream It, clicking from one bizarre video to the next. What starts as innocent browsing spirals into hours of nonsense. Pranks gone wrong, weird tutorials, and of course the unstoppable saxophone chihuahua. As time passes, they age into teenagers, only to realize they're trapped in an infinite loop of autoplay. Just as they try to escape, the chihuahua's music pulls them back in, sealing their fate. In this episode, Gumball is determined to prove he's not predictable, but his plan backfires when he gets stuck in an endless cycle of awkward hugs with Hot Dog Guy. What starts as a joke spirals into daily encounters, forced conversations, and even a sleepover, all making things even weirder. Finally, after an absurd prank war, they realize they feel absolutely nothing for each other and call a truce. Just to get back at Darwin, Gumball hands off the awkwardness, leaving him trapped in an uncomfortable hug with Hot Dog Guy as the episode ends. Gumball and Darwin try to prove that Margaret Robinson has some goodness in her, but after witnessing her endless misdeeds, including swapping babies at a hospital and refusing to help a choking Darwin, they realize she's pure evil. Determined to teach her a lesson, they attempt to frame her for a crime, but Margaret outsmarts them, leaving them to take the blame. Just as they question the existence of justice, karma delivers instant payback as Margaret endures a ridiculous series of unfortunate and painful events. Gumball and Darwin wince as the chaos unfolds, ending the episode. Gumball's hyperactive childhood leads Nicole and Richard to get him a pet fish, Darwin, to keep him entertained. However, after repeatedly replacing fish that mysteriously die, Richard unknowingly buys a special one from a shady van. This Darwin turns out to be highly intelligent and even develops the ability to speak, forming an unbreakable bond with Gumball. Trying to surprise his parents, Gumball tells Darwin to play dumb, but chaos ensues when Richard flushes him away, only for Darwin to reveal his secret at the worst possible moment. Darwin, after being flushed away, embarks on a journey back to Elmore, evolving lungs and legs along the way. Meanwhile, Gumball refuses to give up hope, though his family tries to console him. Captured by pest control, Darwin escapes just in time to see the Wattersons at the mall, only to misunderstand and think they are replacing him. Sensing Darwin's presence, Gumball rushes outside, and they joyfully reunite. Gumball gives Darwin his green shoes, and the Wattersons officially welcome him into the family as the episode ends. In the next episode, Gumball and Darwin try to cheer up Mr. Small, who feels uninspired, by following his advice. But their literal interpretations cause chaos at school. Their antics lead to flooding classrooms, setting hallways on fire, and unleashing a rampaging goat. Oblivious to the destruction, Mr. Small continues giving them advice, including dressing as clowns, which only worsens the situation. Eventually, he reminds them never to take advice too literally. As he walks away, Gumball knocks out the goat, revealing its real head before it faints. One time, Gumball and Darwin experience bizarre glitches while at the mall, causing miscommunication and frustration between them. As Gumball's attempts to talk keep distorting into insults, Darwin gets increasingly angry. The glitches escalate at home, making Darwin look horrifying and leading to a fight. Richard intervenes with ice cream but ends up glitching himself. While on a drive, the car suddenly glitches, moving on its own and creating chaos on the highway before crashing into Joyful Burger. The boys realize they are in a TV show, but before they can process it, the episode abruptly jumps to the Wattersons at the dinner table, laughing awkwardly as another glitch cuts it off. Gumball and Darwin read Anais' diary, and suspect her new friend Jody is manipulating her. Determined to intervene, they spy on Jody, misinterpret her actions, and try to expose her through failed schemes. When they impersonate Anais to break off the friendship, they discover Anais and Jody have fused together. After a chaotic chase, they separate them and realize Anais was the real, clingy parasite. She tries to apologize, but Jody runs away, leaving Anais chasing after her. This one time, Gumball and Darwin find Bober infected with a love virus and try to teach him what love is through a musical montage. Various Elmore residents experience love in different, often absurd ways. Online dating gone wrong, awkward confessions, cosmic romance between the sun and moon, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson's chaotic relationship, and even Richard's misinterpreted affection leading to jail time. After the song, Bobbert reveals he has fallen in love with a vacuum cleaner. Gumball and Darwin are briefly shocked but ultimately shrug it off. The episode follows the Wattersons as they investigate a series of mysterious disappearances in Elmore. Their search leads them to discover that the culprit is their own pet, the evil turtle, who had escaped while pregnant and built a breeding ground beneath their house. When the turtle's eggs hatch, the hatchlings spread chaos throughout the town. Anais realizes that they need their mother to lead them to safety, so the Wattersons rescue the evil turtle from a pest control van. She successfully guides her offspring to the river, and Gumball has a touching moment with her, realizing she was never truly evil, just a protective mother. However, the turtles then attack a passing ship, making the family reconsider. In this episode, Gumball rushes to meet Penny for their date at a restaurant called Dinner in the Mall. Along the way, he gets caught up in a series of unintentional mishaps, including directing Richard into a crash, upsetting a hobo, arguing with construction workers, and accidentally bidding at an auction. After barely managing to shake off his distractions, he finally sits down with Penny, only to misinterpret her choking as a signal that she has to leave. Oblivious, he happily exits the restaurant while Penny, saved by Karen, glares after him in frustration. Gumball becomes obsessed with getting Tobias to include him in his signature high-five and butt-slap greeting, feeling excluded when he only gets a high-five. Despite Darwin's attempts to convince him to let it go, Gumball escalates his efforts with increasingly desperate and ridiculous schemes, all of which fail. Determined, he tricks Tobias onto the school roof and locks them both in, leading to a dramatic survival scenario where they nearly eat each other before Rocky and Darwin rescue them. The next day, Tobias finally slaps Gumball's butt, but instead of feeling satisfied, Gumball angrily slaps him back and storms off, ending the episode. On Halloween, Gumball, Darwin, and Carrie scam the town by faking a haunting, but their lie becomes real when the monster Gargaroth appears. To stop him, they sacrifice their stolen candy, but Gumball hesitates on the last piece, forcing Carrie to nearly marry the monster. At the last second, Gumball gives in, causing Gargaroth to explode. The town hails them as heroes, and as Darwin nervously tries to ask Carrie out, she casually invites him for ice cream, before Gumball drags him away. Rob acquires a powerful remote that allows him to manipulate reality and seeks revenge on Gumball. Using its abilities, he wrecks Gumball's life, breaking up his family, turning Darwin against him, and even making Penny cry. When Gumball confronts him, Rob opens a portal to the void and tries to push him in. A chaotic battle ensues, changing formats, languages, and time itself. Ultimately, Rob throws the remote into the void, forcing Gumball to dive after it. Just as he's about to be lost forever, Gumball manages to grab the remote and rewinds time. Molly's endless, boring stories drive Gumball and Darwin to desperation as they struggle to escape her relentless narration. After failed attempts to shut her down, they realize she hides in an abandoned restroom when she feels lonely. Feeling guilty, they stage an over-the-top school-wide story just for her. Molly excitedly recounts the chaos, but surprises them by revealing she knew it was fake. Grateful, she kisses them on the forehead and walks away, leaving the brothers stunned as the episode ends. This time, Gumball and Darwin, bored with doing nothing, wander Elmore, oblivious to the chaos unfolding around them. Accidental disasters, absurd chases, and bizarre arguments erupt, yet they remain clueless. At the mall, they miss out on a massive chain reaction of events, only to have Tobias fail to record it properly. After unknowingly having their house relocated and returned, they finally get an adventure offer, only to pass it off. As a warrior flies off on a dragon, they shrug and head back inside. In this episode, Nicole reaches her breaking point during a chaotic family dinner, time freezes, and she reflects on the moment she met Richard. She imagines alternate futures with different suitors, only to realize they all lead to disaster. Accepting her fate, she recalls the love and happiness Richard has brought her, from their teenage years to raising their kids. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she unfreezes time and joins her family in a joyful food fight, embracing the life she once questioned. This time, Gumball takes an online quiz and is horrified to be labeled a loser, leading him to suppress his sarcasm in a desperate attempt to be more popular. This backfires when Tobias accidentally takes his place, turning Elmore into a cliché sitcom. As the universe glitches and characters become TV tropes, Darwin and Sarah beg Gumball to embrace his loser role again. When Tobias starts flirting with Penny, Gumball snaps and unleashes all his bottled-up sarcasm at once, breaking the sitcom spell. Tobias suffers the consequences, while Gumball, Darwin, and Sarah awkwardly laugh off the chaos. In episode 9, Rocky, desperate for love, enlists Gumball and Darwin's help to find his dream girl using the dating app Trawler. After a series of mishaps, including botched selfies, accidental insults, and nearly matching with Mrs. Robinson, they finally track down Bridie, the girl Rocky believes is his soulmate. However, she calls him a creep and rejects him, revealing she only swiped on him because of his fake profile. Heartbroken, Rocky settles for Darwin as his video game girlfriend, finding comfort in friendship instead. Gumball and Darwin attempt to reprogram Bobbert to prevent him from harming others, but their commands backfire in absurd ways. When they finally succeed, Bobbert takes his new directive to protect life too literally by deciding to eliminate humanity. His plan shuts down the internet and economy, throwing Elmore into chaos. In a last-minute realization, the brothers point out that destroying mankind contradicts his mission, forcing Bobbert to halt. Relieved, they immediately ask him for homework help. Richard, Gumball, Darwin, and Anais scramble to make up for forgetting Nicole's special day, throwing a generic party to cover all bases. After a series of miscommunications and failed guesses, they discover Nicole mistakenly believed it was their anniversary due to reading the calendar upside down. Richard, determined to make amends, rushes to get the date tattooed, only to have it hilariously altered to love when the truth is revealed. Touched by his gesture, Nicole forgives him, ending the episode with a heartwarming moment. Gumball mistakenly believes Darwin has a crush on Terry and enlists Carrie to help set them up, unaware that she secretly loves Darwin. Jealous but guilty, Carrie eventually creates a love potion to bring Darwin and Terry together, only for Gumball to later realize Darwin actually liked Carrie all along. Desperate to undo their mistake, they try, and fail, to break up Darwin and Terry until Carrie's tear, filled with true love, finally breaks the spell. Freed from the potion, Darwin happily asks Carrie out, and they share a kiss as Gumball celebrates. In this episode, Gumball claims to be a pro skateboarder, but when Darwin asks for lessons, he scrambles to keep up the lie. After buying a cheap skateboard and making up ridiculous tricks, Darwin starts skating too fast, forcing Gumball to admit the truth. In a desperate attempt to save him, Gumball miraculously skates like an expert until a tiny pebble sends them both flying. Later, Gumball tries to show off but fails miserably, ultimately smacking himself in the face with his skateboard, ending the episode. Harold relentlessly bullies Richard, embarrassing him in public and reminding him of a humiliating high school prank. The kids try to toughen Richard up, but he struggles to fight back. In retaliation, they trick Harold into thinking he's suddenly rich, watching as he recklessly spends money he doesn't have. Just as he's about to demolish his own house, Richard decides to come clean, only to secretly give Harold advice on making the explosion even bigger. The episode ends with a massive blast in the background as the Wattersons walk away. Next up, Gumball convinces Richard to leave a scathing review of Larry's barbershop, leading to free haircuts. Drunk with power, Gumball and Darwin exploit online reviews to make Larry suffer, forcing him into absurd tasks like making a movie and designing a new zoo animal. When they take it too far and paralyze Elmore with fear, they beg Larry to delete the site, but he demands Richard admit his baldness first. A blinding glare from Richard's head accidentally saves the day, but before he can finally confess, he and Larry are hilariously run over by a taxi, ending the episode. On this episode, Richard attempts a diet, but only gains weight, forcing Gumball and Darwin to intervene. After failed lockdowns and decoy burgers, they trick him into working out, accidentally turning him into a grotesquely buff menace. Richard rampages through Elmore, flexing for selfies, stealing ambulance tires, and blocking firefighters from extinguishing a blaze. Gumball and Darwin snap him out of it by reminding him of his love for food, causing him to stumble and accidentally put out the fire. Regretful but hungry, Richard takes the boys out for a massive meal. Richard accidentally robs a bank while trying to order fast food, unknowingly bringing home $2 million. The Wattersons scramble to return the money, but every plan fails. Nicole considers fleeing the country. Gumball tries stuffing it into an ATM, and Richard imagines a ridiculous 20-year prison break scheme. Ultimately, Darwin simply drops the money off at the bank, only for the police to detonate the suitcase, destroying the cash. As flaming bills rain down, Gumball dryly remarks that they tried, ending the episode. On the next episode, the Wattersons, fed up with their daily struggles, decide to swap roles. Nicole becomes a man, Gumball and Darwin become women, Anais becomes an adult, and Richard reverts to a child. Each quickly realizes their new life is just as difficult. Anais is crushed by boring office work. Richard is overwhelmed by school. Gumball and Darwin are underestimated and objectified, and Nicole suffers through physical labor and social expectations. By the end of the day, they eagerly return to normal, with Gumball concluding everyone has it equally bad, only for Nicole to get cut off mid-rant. This time, Nicole celebrates being Employee of the Month a little too much, making Richard feel unappreciated. In protest, he goes on strike, leaving the kids unsupervised, which quickly turns their home into a nightmarish disaster zone. Nicole finally admits she needs Richard's help, and he steps in with his bizarre but surprisingly effective parenting methods. Just as Nicole acknowledges his skills, she accidentally catapults a neighbor over the fence, ending the episode in typical Watterson chaos. The Wattersons are shocked to learn that Elmore wants to banish them due to their long history of chaos. Trying to prove they can be model citizens, they act overly polite and responsible, only to transform into unsettling human versions of themselves. When they discover the mayor's real plan to sell Elmore to the rich, they sabotage the deal by turning the town into a disaster zone. Their plan works, but instead of gratitude, the citizens pelt them with rotten tomatoes, chanting, "Go, Wattersons, go!" Gumball and Darwin find their old childhood puppets, but Darwin gets too attached, refusing to take them off. As the puppets take control, they insult Gumball, ruin his belongings, and pull Darwin into a creepy puppet world where playtime never stops. Gumball is forced to join, only to be trapped in a bizarre nightmare of endless games. Realizing the torment, Darwin fights back and rips the puppets apart, breaking their hold. Back in reality, their yard sale continues until the puppets attack Billy, proving they aren't gone for good. The episode follows a flashback to Anais' birth, where Gumball and Darwin initially celebrate having a baby sister, until they realize she has a sinister side. Anais begins setting traps and scheming to eliminate them, from fake accusations to explosive toys. Gumball and Darwin try to befriend her, but end up fearing for their lives. In a final act, they attempt to scare her into submission, only to accidentally have her thrown away. After a dramatic rescue at a trash facility, they realize she was never in danger. Anais had been one step ahead the whole time. Just as they think she's finally accepted them, she cleverly frames Gumball, ending the episode with their parents furious. This episode follows Gumball and Darwin as they suspect Richard of cheating after discovering him interacting with a mysterious woman. As they spy on him, they learn that Samantha is actually Richard in disguise, trying to make friends with a group of women. Feeling lonely and unaccepted by other men, Richard had decided to live a double life for companionship. When Richard finally confesses his secret, the women reveal they were also men disguising themselves for the same reason. Instead of abandoning the ruse, they decide to continue their friendship, much to Gumball and Darwin's exasperation. The boys leave, baffled, as the men enjoy their new bond. Frankie's visit the Wattersons, coinciding with Vermin Man Day, a fake holiday invented by Granny Jojo to keep Richard from remembering the day Frankie abandoned him. Realizing the truth, Richard falls into a deep depression over his strained relationship with his father. Gumball and Darwin encourage him to bond with Frankie, but their time together is ruined by Frankie's criminal tendencies. Frustrated, Richard calls him out, prompting Frankie to confess he wanted Richard to be a better father than he was. Touched, Richard forgives him, and they finally reconcile, though Richard unintentionally picks up his father's pickpocketing skills. Mr. Cornell ends up in the nurse's office after walking into the cage, which Gumball misinterprets as an MMA fight. Wanting to impress Miss Markham, Cornet lets the rumor spread, and soon, Gumball and Darwin pressure him into a real match to help raise money for the school. When he realizes he is up against the formidable João the Grave Digger, he insists he can handle it, until Gumball secretly arranges for João to go easy on him. Cornet, determined to prove himself, enters the ring but is immediately flattened, as everyone stands in stunned silence. Gumball optimistically notes that at least they saved the school. One time, Gumball wakes up to a series of annoying noises, misses the bus, and ends up with detention. When he complains to Darwin, Clayton, disguised as a drinking fountain, overhears and laments his boring life. Gumball encourages him to impersonate people instead, and Clayton agrees, taking Gumball's detention in his place. The next day, however, Clayton takes things too far, impersonating Rocky, Larry, Tobias, and even Gumball, causing chaos all over town. Gumball and Darwin chase him through the streets and into the sewers, where Gumball ends up face-to-face with an alligator. Clayton, inspired to finally be himself, saves Gumball just in time. To celebrate, they take him to a football game, though Gumball remains shaken from his encounter. On this episode, Gumball sings loudly on the school bus, annoying everyone when Principal Brown unexpectedly boards and sits beside him. They chat about their girlfriend's quirks, with Brown complaining about Miss Simeon's awful morning breath, and Gumball mentioning Penny's strange laugh. They agree to confront each other's girlfriends about the issues. Gumball attempts to freshen Miss Simeon's breath but fails spectacularly, angering her. Meanwhile, Principal Brown avoids talking to Penny and instead plots revenge, setting up Gumball to get beaten up. Gumball exposes Principal Brown's deception over the school intercom, only to realize too late that Miss Simeon and Penny were listening the whole time. Gumball sings loudly on the school bus, annoying everyone, when Principal Brown unexpectedly boards and sits beside him. They chat about their girlfriend's quirks, with Brown complaining about Miss Simeon's awful morning breath and Gumball mentioning Penny's strange laugh. They agree to confront each other's girlfriends about the issues. Gumball attempts to freshen Miss Simeon's breath but fails spectacularly, angering her. Meanwhile, Principal Brown avoids talking to Penny and instead plots revenge, setting up Gumball to get beaten up. Gumball exposes Principal Brown's deception over the school intercom, only to realize too late that Miss Simeon and Penny were listening the whole time. Anais is in a hospital after facepalming too much at her family's stupidity. To save her brain, the Wattersons must go a week without doing anything dumb. Despite their efforts, they constantly mess up, with Anais wandering into dangerous situations. In a twist, Anais realizes it was all a dream caused by her frustration. The doctor diagnoses her with family, with no cure, as the Wattersons continue their clueless antics. The episode begins with Principal Brown introducing Peter Pepperoni, who speaks a mix of English and gibberish. Gumball and Darwin, assigned to show him around, pretend to understand him. After weeks of confusion, they meet Peter's parents, the Pepperonis, who invite them to an event. The Pepperonis reveal their plan to steal government documents because they dislike the government's stance on homeschooling. After a chase, the Pepperonis destroy the documents but are arrested. To save them, Peter gives a gibberish speech which confuses the police into letting them go, as the files are available online. Gumball is trying to recycle a bottle, but dismissing it and throwing it in the trash. Mr. Small intervenes, criticizing Gumball for not recycling and sharing the story of the extinct stink ape, which serves as a warning about the planet's future. Gumball remains unbothered, and Mr. Small, frustrated, moves to Elmore Woods to escape civilization. However, he soon finds the forest to be dangerous and full of deadly creatures. Gumball and Darwin go after him, eventually discovering that the dangerous figure is Mr. Small, who has been setting traps. They encounter the real stink ape, which Mr. Small accidentally injures with his trap. Realizing the consequences of his actions, Mr. Small returns to Elmore Junior High with the boys. This time, Gumball and Darwin are clueless about Green Week at school. Gumball tries to impress Leslie by pretending to know about photosynthesis, but ends up getting sunburned. After a series of mishaps, including eating soil and getting drenched by a fire hose, Gumball admits he knows nothing about plants. Eventually, Gumball and Leslie apologize and become friends again, but Leslie still believes Gumball has a lot to learn, suggesting he should go home to be milked, which offends Gumball. On the next episode, Darwin and Carrie have a quirky relationship, but Gumball starts to doubt it after seeing some strange moments between them. Gumball, influenced by his doubt, spies on them, thinking their differences will tear them apart. He even makes Darwin doubt Carrie after some odd events. like Carrie revealing she's 327 years old and her ex showing up. However, after some misunderstandings, Gumball realizes his mistake and apologizes, learning that doubt was only messing with him. In the end, Gumball kicks doubt away, feeling victorious. One time the Wattersons are at home for family night, but their dinner devolves into chaos with each family member blaming the others for various mishaps. Richard decides to salvage the evening by initiating a live-action role-playing game. He assigns everyone roles: Nicole as a barbarian, Anais as a wizard, Darwin as an elf, and Gumball as a dwarf warrior. The family embarks on a quest to find treasure, but their constant bickering keeps causing problems. They fight off an owlbear, endure more arguments, and face a monster in a dungeon. After much discord, they finally pull together, defeat the monster, and open the treasure chest, only to find a message about the value of spending time together. The family reconciles and shares a heartfelt hug, while Richard awkwardly exits, running into the bookshelf. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin realize they've run out of things to talk about and seek help from Harold, who just takes their money. After trying alternative medicine with Mr. Small and using online roleplay, they still can't reconnect. They experiment with different ways of talking, including changing positions and giving each other space. But nothing works. Eventually, Gumball uses Darwin's logic to find him after Darwin gets trapped in a dumpster car. The two laugh and hug, realizing they don't need to talk all the time because they know each other so well. The episode ends with a humorous moment as Gumball reads Darwin's mind, leading to a funny but awkward situation. Principal Brown struggles to confess his feelings to Miss Simeon, accidentally driving her to the edge of a cliff instead of their intended date. Meanwhile, Gumball and Darwin wish for Miss Simeon to be brought down to size and softened up, which leads to her transforming into a neck pillow. They try to reverse the spell but fail, causing chaos around town. Eventually, Principal Brown makes a romantic gesture, finally telling Miss Simeon, "I love you," and they reconcile. Gumball and Darwin choose not to reveal the truth about the transformation, leaving the couple happy and unaware. Gumball and Darwin are left in charge of babysitting Polly, but fail miserably, leading to a chaotic series of events. After a night of exhaustion, the boys continuously black out, finding themselves in strange situations, including in a police car, a fair, and even in a fight with Tina. They eventually realize Polly has been with them all along, and the chaos was all a misunderstanding. Gumball and Darwin return home, only to face Penny's anger. Despite apologizing, Penny says she'll think about forgiving them. The episode ends with the bus that carried the boys crashing into their house. In this episode, Principal Brown is in a panic as the school superintendent, Superintendent Evil, arrives to eliminate the cartoonish elements of Elmore Junior High. Evil begins transforming the students and staff into live-action humans. Gumball and Darwin narrowly escape being changed and vow to save their friends. Using their cartoonish logic, they reverse the transformations, and with the help of their classmates, they confront Evil. It's revealed that the evil superintendent is actually Rob in disguise, who tries to warn them about an upcoming event. Before he can finish, Tina knocks him out, and Rob is later swallowed by the void, marking the series' end with his fall into the abyss. And there you have it, the entire story of the Amazing World of Gumball. Thanks for tagging along on this hilarious, heartwarming journey through Elmore. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite moments or characters in the comments below. See you next time for more absurd adventures.